All right, we are out here in the mix in New Orleans on Radio Row with SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Raheem Palmer here with us. You've seen him before, of course, on the SportsGrid network. You know his work from The Ringer, FanDuel TV. We're getting set for Super Bowl 59, Raheem. And I want to get straight to it because you're someone who will model games out, find a number. So what have the numbers been telling you matching up KC and Philly?
So my number actually makes the Eagles 3-point favorites. And it also likes the under.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily touching the under, but one of the things that I like to do is in Super Bowls, you always see they normally start out slow. You look at 14 of the last 20 Super Bowls, they've gone under the total with a total of 48.5. So I tend to like to play second half, highest scoring half. That's at minus 105 right now. So I'm going to be playing that.
All right, I like that. Now, your number's coming out Philly -3. I'll tell you this. For me, I don't find that as surprising because of how I view this Eagles team. I think they are the best in football. It's not even about a slight to Kansas City. It is about how I view this Philly team. If you look at, they have 3 losses. Saquon dropped the football, Devonta dropped the football, and then they were missing half of their offensive starters against Tampa Bay. Now, KC's only lost 1 game with their starters. I understand that. But the Philly resume, going to Baltimore, beating up on that football team, destroyed Cincinnati. I mean, again, they just scored the most points ever in a conference championship game with what they did against Washington. But obviously your number is well off how the books are pricing it, which for a Super Bowl has to be a rarity. So are you approaching it aside? Are you trying to adjust the number? What are you thinking?
So this is very tough for me because I always tell people, you don't get extra points. You don't get extra money. You don't get extra credit for betting against Patrick Mahomes. And we've seen it throughout these Super Bowls. They go down in the first half, and then they come back. And I tell people, I play the greatest hits. I wait for the last 2 Super Bowls, I've waited for the Chiefs to go down, and I've bet them live in the markets. I was able to get the Chiefs plus 400 against the Eagles in 2 Super Bowls ago. Last year, against the San Francisco 49ers, I got them plus 300. At points of that Super Bowl, you could have got them at 9-1. So, but for this Super Bowl, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get out ahead of it. I like the Philadelphia Eagles in the first half. You mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, their resume, the fact that they were able to slow down that Baltimore Ravens offense, slow down that Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they were scoring on everybody. Those offenses couldn't do anything against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just think they are a dominant team, but I don't want to, play them full game because I think the Chiefs have the better quarterback, they have the better coach, and they have the better defensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo, I mean, he's always able to dial things up to get them back into games. So I'm going to try to get in and out like a robbery, like Tupac said. I'm going to take the Eagles first half, and then hopefully I may be grabbing the Chiefs on the live markets.
Yeah, and I know that kind of is the thing for KC is, look, they'll eventually always be able to figure it out, and I understand that they've been able to do that a few times. They have lost the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is the way it needs to look in order for them to lose. If it has to be ugly, and I will say Philadelphia has an ability to extend on football teams, so I think for Philly that at least kind of gives them that extra credit, if you will. Like, you have to have an ability to blow a team out to even think that could kind of come into play here. I think what's very interesting, though, for me is if the inverse happens of Kansas City's up 10-0, right? To me, I don't think Philadelphia is dead in the water. Kansas City can't or doesn't. Pick whichever one you want. Separate on anyone. So that I think that's why, more likely than not, this game will be played with inside that 10-point margin, if you will.
I agree. You know what, though? I think if the Philadelphia Eagles get out ahead, there's real blowout potential. I truly believe in order to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to knock out the champion. And I think the Buffalo Bills had an opportunity to do that. You look, when they were, up 1 with the ball in Kansas City territory, they get that first down. Maybe they go down and they score a touchdown and they get it to 8 points. If they go for 2, it's now a 2-possession game with less than 10 minutes left in the game. And I think the Eagles have that ability with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts to be able to run out the clock. And, the one concern I do have right now is that they're saying Jalen Carter, he's had an illness.
Yeah, that's becoming a very bizarre thing now that I saw Quinyon Mitchell might have laryngitis.
How do you price that sort of thing?
You can't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if in the first half all of a sudden the Eagles' offense looks different than it has all season, then you go, oh, great.
Yeah.
None of them are actually fine, and now this is going to be a track meet, and you're going to have to be able to keep pace. And that isn't – look, could Philly? Sure.
Yeah.
But the best pass offenses they've played are Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Green Bay twice.
Yeah.
One game was Jordan Love's worst passer rating game. The other was his worst QBR game.
Yeah.
Lamar's worst QBR game. Burrow's worst passer rating game. So they've done a great job limiting teams, and I think that's what they have to be banking on. I want to ask you this quickly before I let you get out of here. Because we do talk NBA a lot, you and I. The Luka AD stuff.
Oh, my God.
I know. I know. Right now, the Lakers had Mark Williams. This season, who do you view as the better team between them, the Lakers and the Mavs?
I'm going to say the Mavericks.
I'm surprised by that, man. What am I missing?
To me, I think, and I'm not high on the Mavericks at all. I think their offense is going to take a big hit, but I think they should have a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure about the Lakers' defense.
You think the defense is going to be that bad?
Huh?
You think the Lakers' defense will be that bad? I just –
Yeah.
LeBron is now actually the second best player on his team.
Yeah. I have
Luka
to see
is a top 5 player.
I have to see the fit between Luka and LeBron.
Yeah.
And I love Luka. To me, Luka is royalty. I mean, he's must-see TV, whether he's playing in FIBA with Slovenia, the Dallas Mavericks, or now the Los Angeles Lakers. But they're both heliocentric ball players, ball-dominant players. How do they fit next to each other?
I think it's a fair question. I will say I think there were portions of LeBron's career where he needed the ball more.
Yeah.
I think the time with D. Wade, who had maybe less creativity than Luka at the time, so I'm optimistic on it all. I think it's going to be fun to watch it play out, and I'm sure at some point during the year, me and you will chop it up around all of that. Raheem Palmer, The Ringer, NBA TV, you'll see him everywhere as we get set for Super Bowl
Before
59.
we go, Harrison Butker, over 7.5 kicking points. Chiefs, over 1.5 made field goals. That's my favorite bets.
There you go, a couple of extra pieces of action there for you as we get ready for Super Bowl 59.